Hello everyone, and this video is going to be a longsword build for Rise and Sunbreak, more specifically Sunbreak because it uses all Master Rank and G Rank equipment. So first off, we're starting with the Fisher Force. This is Malzeno's maxed out longsword. You could choose another longsword probably if you want, but I chose Malzeno's because it has good sharpness, it has good raw, and it has a good level 4 slot, which is a lot harder to come by in Sunbreak as opposed to World and Iceborne. For the helmet, we are using a favorite of mine, which is the Ingot Helm X. This is something you get very early on in the game that you can make. It gives us +1 to windproof, +1 to attack boost, and +1 to stamina thief as well, it looks like. Which is, I guess, kind of cool, but longswords don't really do stamina damage. For the chest piece, we have the Giratodus Mail, which gives us 3 level 1 decoration slots, which isn't crazy good, but we mostly want this for the power prolonger. It works really well in tandem with the longsword, so when you wrap up your increase your spirit gauge from normal to white to blue to red, the occurring state lasts a little bit longer. It also gives us evade extender, so when we roll from side to side or forward and back, it gives us a little bit of an extra distance increase. This is really good for repositioning. For the gloves, we have the Rime Guard gloves. This is from Velkhana. This gives us 1 point into Frostcraft, which is when you sheath your weapon, the frost gauge builds up and increases your base attack by a little bit. It's only 1 point, so it's not too much, but it's still nice to have. We're mainly taking this for the critical draw, because critical draw works on both regular sheathing for the longsword as well as the longsword specific sheath. Critical draw makes it so when we do a sheath attack, that sheath attack has increased crit chance. I believe at level 3, oh, okay, it's 60%. I know in World and Iceborne, critical draw at level 3 went up to 100%, but I see that they have heavily nerfed it. Still, 60% is really good. That brings us above 50%, so we're going to be critting more often than not. For the waist, we have the Squire's Belt. This gives us one level 3 decoration slot, excuse me. 1 point into weakness exploit, 1 point into critical boost, and 1 point into offensive guard. The offensive guard is wasted here, but we're mostly pining for the decoration slot and the weakness exploit and the critical boost. For the greaves, we are using the Tobi Kadachi greaves, which gives us a level 2 decoration slot, a level 1 decoration slot. It gives us constitution, so when we roll, our rolls cost a little bit less stamina. It gives us +2 into critical eye, which raises our affinity or our crit chance. And it gives us +1 into critical element, which means when we do crit, our elemental damage goes up a little bit more. This also gives you a little bit more build versatility, so if you want to use a different elemental weapon, say you're fighting a monster that's weak to ice or thunder, you can switch it and it'll help out with the fight. For the decorations themselves, in the Fisher Force, I have a Mastery Jewel, which means when you crit, you have a chance of not losing Sharpness for that hit, and because our crit chance is relatively high, we should not be going through Sharpness at least too often. For the Rampage slot, I have the Spiritbird Double Jewel. I really like taking this one over pretty much all the other level 1s, because a lot of the level 1 Rampage slot jewels are pretty bad. Spirit Bird doubled means when you grab a Spirit Bird or you obtain a Spirit Bird through other means, the effect is increased. So let's say you pick up a attack spear bird, the red ones, it goes from a +2 to a +4. In the Ingot Helm X, we have a Polisher Pro jewel, which gives us Grinder S, so when we recover sharpness by sharpening our weapon, I believe it gives us a slight boost to our overall sharpness for a slight period of time. And then in the level 1 decoration slot, we have Spiritbird's Call. This means at every 5-minute intervals, we gain a Spiritbird from somewhere on the map, completely for free. We don't have to go and collect it ourselves. For the Jurototus Male X, we have a Cornerstone Jewel. This makes it so when the monster is enraged, we gain boosts to our defense as well as immunity to weak monster roars, wind pressure, and tremors. For the other 2 level 1 decoration slots, we have 2 points into Grinder. This makes it so when we do sharpen our weapon, we do it in 2 sharpened cycles instead of 4. For the Rimguard gloves, we have a Fate Jewel, mostly because I'm a greedy person. This means when we complete the quest from start to finish, we have a good chance of getting extra rewards. In the level 2 decoration slot, we have a extra point into Critical Eye, so our base affinity is higher, so we crit more often. In the level 1 decoration slot, I have a point of defense. We don't get too much defense in this build, as opposed to like my lance and gunlance builds, because the longsword has a lot of invincibility moves and counter moves, so I feel like defense is wasted for the most part, but if you ever do get hit, this will help you at least a tiny bit. In the Squire's Belt, we have a point of Tenderizer. This brings our weakness exploit from 1 to 3. We have it completely maxed out. I don't know what the max is, so when we hit a weak spot on a monster, like the head or the tail, we gain 50% increased affinity, which is really good. So we should, again, with that, with Critical Eye and Critical Draw, we're going to be critting like crazy. That might be a little bit overboard on the crit chance, but I feel like it's fine, at least for the most part. And for the Kadachi Greaves, we have a Tenderizer Jewel in the level 2 slot. This is, again, to max out our weakness exploit. You could probably swap this out for something else if you really want to. Actually, Embolden might be a pretty good secondary choice. And in the level 1 decoration slot, we have a point into defense. In the Boon Talisman that I have, which gives us 3 points into Crit Eye, 1 point into Spare Shot, and the jewel itself is a Handicraft Jewel. The Crit Eye brings us up to level 6 Critical Eye. The Spare Shot is wasted for this because this is not a gunner build. And then the level 3, the Handicraft Charm in the level 3 decoration slot just increases our base sharpness. I hope this build serves you all well. Like I said, the Longsword could probably be swapped out for something else if you really want to. I just chose this one because it's a good all-rounder Longsword. I hope this build serves you well. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.